Hey, what is going on, guys? OG mode is coming back very soon, and we've seen a lot of leaks about a lot of the weapons. So today's video, we're going to do a prediction of where the weapon meta is going to lie based on these leaks and historical Season 1 stats. Of course, Epic could make a last-minute adjustment, and we don't know absolutely every stat, so do keep that in mind, but hopefully this will be pretty close to how the weapon meta will shake out, so when you first play OG mode, you'll have an idea of what's worth carrying and what's worth leaving behind. We'll cover all 6 classes today, which is shotguns, ARs, SMGs, pistols, snipers, and structure destroyers. And with that, let's start out with the shotguns. So you're going to have 2 options, the pump and the tac, and based on the leaks, they are going back to the historical damage. So that means the tac could do a max of 185, and the pump could do a max of 237. So you may think, okay, both of those sound competitive, right? Because the pump shoots slower but can one-shot, while the tac can still do big damage, but it shoots faster. The problem, though, is given what we know with the draw speeds, I don't think the tac is going to be all that great against the pump, relatively speaking. While I think the tac will be a good weapon in isolation, the problem is with double shotgun available, you have to ask the question, do you take double pumps, pump tac, or pump SMG? Okay, pump SMG is basically useless, which we'll get to when we talk about the SMGs, but pump tac I don't think is going to be that good against double pumps either. The problem is, the pump currently draws faster than the tac, and based on the leaks we've seen from the pump shotgun being fired, the pump maintains its same draw speed. So unless the tac shotgun gets a draw speed buff, I don't see it as being competitive, because if you both fire a pump, and then one person has double pump, one person has pump tac, who's going to fire first? The double pump person. As long as the double pump draws faster than the pump tac, I don't see it as being particularly competitive. And with that, I would overall say I'd only recommend the tac for people that are maybe newer to the game, have hard time with aim. But if you're at least an intermediate level, I'd go with double pump, as unless the draw speed gets adjusted, I suspect double pump will be much better. Okay, let's move on to the ARs now, which you're going to have 3 choices: standard, burst, and scoped. The standard AR is getting 2 known buffs to the headshot multiplier and the reload, which is going to help big time. We don't know if the bloom is getting reverted, but even with that, it's going to make the ARs be a lot stronger overall. I think it's going to be a solid option. If you're not sure what to take, just take the standard AR. It's going to be good, even the gray one. The burst AR is interesting, as it will do 2.5x headshot out of 3 burst, meaning even with a gray burst, you can 200 to 0 someone with a perfect triple critical hit with the burst. The problem is, though, that's not particularly reliable, and honestly, the burst could be really good in a situation where we don't have first shot accuracy and no damage fall-off, because with the burst, the old burst in particular, the first shot may hit, but the second and third go sideways. But without damage fall-off, you can get lucky, so that could help. I think the burst could be situationally decent, and if you like the playstyle, give it a go. I just don't think it's going to be overall as good as the Scar, but we'll have to wait and see there. Scoped AR should be going back to its historical damage numbers. Scoped AR should be alright. I don't think it's going to be anything exceptional. At long range, it can be really solid. At close range, it's borderline useless. I think it'll be okay. Take it if you like it, but not the best weapon to ever exist. I think it's just try it if you like it. Okay, moving to the SMGs. From the leaks, I haven't seen the Silence SMG be in the loot pool, despite the fact it did exist in late Season 1. But we'll just talk about it in case it gets added later or something like that. No matter how it's balanced, it's going to be bad. If and when it exists, it's going to be bad because right now it's terrible. Historically, it was terrible. Just basically don't use it. Tactical SMG is pretty much in the same boat. The TAC SMG stats, we know it has a 2.5x headshot multiplier, which is nice, but it only has the 10-round rate of fire and the 30-round mag. 180 DPS is not going to be very good when even the blue AR is 181. I don't see the tactical SMG as being very good. I recommend avoiding it unless it's the only gun you have. But double pumps is going to absolutely destroy the TAC SMG. Remember, the TAC SMG does not get the rate of fire and magazine buff until late Season 2. So later on in this mode, we might be talking about how the TAC SMG is a solid option, but right now, I'd avoid it. Finally, the OG SMG, it's not going to do 11 damage like you may remember. It does have its historical buff of doing 14 to 16. So the blue one actually does do 240 DPS, which is higher than the tactical SMG when it got its buff in late Season 2. That's higher than the standard SMG in late Season 5. That's higher than the Silence SMG ever had. Higher than the compact after it got its nerfs, right? This could actually be situationally okay at point blank. The bloom is terrible. You're going to eat through that magazine very quickly. At point blank, maybe it's halfway usable. If you really want to run an SMG, this might actually be the best option, but I'm not saying it's good. And I'd still overall say probably leave it behind, but you could try it out if you really want to run the OG SMG for fun. Okay, let's move on to the pistols, which you're going to have the standard pistol and the revolver. And honestly, neither of these I don't think are going to be very good. Standard pistol, the blue one actually, might be decent because it does over 25 damage, but it's just not very good. I don't see a situation where this is good. It has too much bloom to be a viable AR. I guess it's technically better than some of the SMGs, but double shotgun exists. You don't need an SMG. And I just don't think this is going to be an amazing weapon. Revolver, yes, it has a 2.5x critical hit multiplier, but the rate of fire is going back down to 0.9. I think it's just a worse hand cannon, honestly. I just really wouldn't use it on all that much. The pistols are not going to be very good. Okay, moving to the snipers, we have the bolt action and the semi-auto. I definitely recommend running the bolt action. The semi-auto is a good learning tool, but given it only does 66 damage, wouldn't really recommend it. It's just not great unless you need to use it as a learning tool or this is the only sniper you have and you really want to run it. I just go with the bolt action if you can find it. It does 100 base damage, over 200 headshot. It's a very reliable sniper. It could have the old bullet drop, which would make it a little harder to use, but I suspect it's still going to be a solid option. There's no heavy sniper or anything that really compete with it. It's just the best option overall. Finally, the structure destroyers. Pretty much no matter how the RPG and grenade launcher are balanced, I'd recommend picking them up if you can find it. The RPG is going to work best at close range. The grenade launch is better at medium range. Both are going to be solid options. RPG might overall be slightly better, but grenade launcher is no slouch. I think both are great, and if you can find them, take them. Especially with slow mobility, right? There shouldn't be any shockwaves, impulses, anything like that. So if you can knock people down and stop them from coming up to, say, you're on the hill and you knock them down, they can't just shockwave up. So that could be pretty useful. So I expect explodes will be very useful, and I'd highly recommend taking them. So, just to sum up now, shotguns, I think both of them are pretty good, but the pump shotgun is going to be the better option because of the draw speed advantage, unless the draw speed gets adjusted on the attack or pump. ARs, I think standard will be overall the best. Burst and scope could situationally be alright if you really want to run a different AR. SMGs, OG SMG might actually be the best one, but it's still not going to be very good. Would overall recommend not running SMGs. Pistols, I don't think either are going to be very good. I would not recommend running them. Snipers, I recommend running the bolt action. If you want to run a sniper, unless you want to learn how to snipe, then go with the semi, but most of the time it's going to be the bolt. And then structure destroyers, grenade launch, and RPG, I think both will be very solid. And with that, I hope this video was interesting, and I'll catch you in the next one.